Have you seen this bandit? Is this how you look to 100 people? And heads up, we've got a story about snake surgery. We've got lots of weird and interesting news related to faces and heads coming your way right now on your news refresh. But before we get inside your noggin, give us a hot subscribe at the News Refresh on YouTube to get more news stories like these each and every day. Thanks. Okay, is this the face of a criminal? How about this? What about this? I don't even know if I can trust this little guy. After all, there sure are a lot of pirate-themed LEGO sets, and I bet plenty of those guys operate outside the normal bounds of LEGO law. But Legoland hasn't become some sort of crime-ridden hellhole. It turns out these are some actual real-world photos that have been altered to disguise a suspect's appearance. The minifigures depicted in these photos are suspected of non-violent crimes. And this lieutenant with the Murrieta, California Police Department notes that these playful alterations are meant to catch your eye.
A little fun, get some attention, game the social media algorithms, generate some attraction, likes, follows, stuff like that. As
the PD asked on Facebook a couple of days ago in this very plastic lineup, why the covered faces? Well, they've explained on Instagram that this is the result of AB 1475, a bill passed in California back in 2021 that prohibits a police department or sheriff's office from sharing on social media booking photos of an individual arrested on suspicion of committing a non-violent crime, unless special circumstances exist. And just the other day, the PD explained that in order to share what's happening in Murrieta, they choose to cover the faces of suspects to protect their identity while aligning with a new update to this law. As of the start of this year, mugshots now have to be taken down off of social media after 14 days. But as noted by a local news station, many of these photos with the Lego heads are still okay because they're not the types of classic mugshots or booking photos that we all know and love. These are instead pics snapped by cops at a police station or while they're apprehending a suspect.
I definitely believe strongly in the value of transparency with our community and letting them know what their police department is doing out there. At the same time, making sure we're remaining compliant with state law and respecting the suspect's rights as well. So again, that's that fine line of maintaining that balance.
It turns out our PD here has actually been redacting faces on social media for several years. Here's the persevering face emoji caught with drugs and a stolen car back in 2022. Here's the disembodied head of Barbie apprehended for trespassing, drug possession, and stolen property last year. And look, even Fair Shrek and Donkey themselves were busted for shoplifting back in November. But Lego has remained the redaction of choice for the Murrieta PD. Here's a Lego driver's license, a Lego DUI hit-and-run suspect, a happy Lego officer with a sad Lego alleged car thief, and even a Lego mother and Lego daughter believed to be shoplifters. Now, the public response to these Lego faces has actually been kind of mixed on social media. In November, N2 Optics wrote, "I like it, they're all blockheads." Edgar Villa 3 said, "Not a fan of the Lego faces to be honest, I find it unprofessional." And _Danny_Espinosa 84 replied to this post without saying anything. But one minifigure looms large over this whole operation: the Lego people themselves, with local news reporting that the Lego Group has asked this police department to stop using its trademarked images on social media. The PD says that going forward, it plans to come up with a new option to block out faces. Maybe they could try this one because it's public domain now. Speaking of faces, let's imagine this is how I look to most people. Now imagine this is how I look to 100 people. Huh? Yeah. These faces might resemble poorly rendered non-playable characters on a PlayStation 2, but stretched out demonic faces like these are what researchers at Dartmouth College claim people afflicted by a rare condition observe on a regular basis. The condition is called Prosopometamorphopsia, and Science News says this is a poorly understood condition with less than 100 cases cited in the past 120 years. A new study on this condition, which is a very hard word to say, and I'm not saying again, was just published in The Lancet. It's about a 58-year-old man who has a 31-month history of seeing people with these demonic, distorted faces, perceiving stretched out features and deep grooves on everyone he encounters. These distortions you see here are computer generated, like most characters from Shrek, and researchers say that people can develop this condition after a brain injury, tumor, infection, or after having seizures. Some of the people who worked on this study have a new website that lays out more of their research, which includes more examples of these Picasso-like distortions. And on the site, they ask anyone who's currently afflicted by this condition to reach out via an online form to take part in some more research. The site notes that those affected by these face distortions often have the problem resolved after a few days or a few weeks. But for some, the problem may persist for many years. Either way, some mild relief may finally be in sight for this poor guy. And now some news about a two-headed rat snake out of Missouri. This is Tiger Lily, a a unique two-headed female rat snake discovered in 2017 that the Missouri Department of Conservation says was bound for a nature center earlier this month. Tiger Lily here, who's actually a pair of conjoined identical snake twins that were never completely separated, was in the middle of a statewide tour of nature spots when something seemed amiss. Namely, it sneezed up traces of blood during a feeding. It's not immediately clear which head sneezed the blood, but vets at the St. Louis Zoo quickly determined that Tiger Lily had a problem with its ovaries, causing inflammation and risk of infection. Well, they ended up removing her abnormal ovaries, and she's now recovering, and it's believed that Tiger Lily will be back on tour in about a month or so. On the St. Louis Zoo's Instagram, Shadesy Dow wrote, "I really wanted to say she got a hysterectomy, but that's removing the uterus, not ovaries, and now I'm sad because that would have been so funny." Well, hey, Lyles Paula nevertheless responded, "It's funny." And hey, Shadesy Dow, you said you wanted to say it, and you said it. What more do you want?